You guys are watching Tennessee Titans today. I am Tom Downey. We've got a new feature on the show. Random question of the day. Absolutely no reason why in particular we're asking this one, but we want to get to know our audience. So what is your favorite snack? Go light up the comment section and let me know what you guys are munching on today. Today's Titans video is all about wide receiver targets. It could be via trade amid all of the Deebo Samuel chaos, which we'll get to here in a little bit. Draft and free agency as well. Now, Tennessee already made one trade at receiver, a move that I loved, one that we broke down here, which I'm sure you guys all watched because you have notifications turned on and you are subscribed. But there is still that need for a more dynamic number 3. I would argue that draft is most likely, which we'll get into, but I wanted to hit all 3 phases of team building and acquisition by beginning with trade. And they're the number one swing right now is Deebo Samuel. Absolute chaos here. Deebo allegedly wants a trade, or I guess he said he wants a trade, requested one. The leaks, not sure from who, says that Deebo doesn't want to be a running back and it's a usage thing, which is weird because if you're the Niners, wouldn't you just say, sure, we won't do that and pay him, which makes me think it's really about the money between those two teams, but I digress. An offense for the Titans featuring Deebo Samuel, Derrick Henry, and A.J. Brown would be one of the most electric ones in the NFL, and I would just one time like to see Wildcat read option with Deebo Samuel, Derrick Henry. Either one could be the QB for all I care. He's a dynamic football player. He's awesome. If you get him, I think you'd feel pretty excited about it. Of course, you can't have this conversation about trading for a star receiver without mentioning the guy already on your roster. So we'll throw A.J. Brown as a trade target in the sense that if you do trade for somebody, whether it's a big-time guy, a later-round guy, you sign somebody, you draft someone, you're keeping A.J. Brown. So I want to be super clear with that. Don't be stupid, Tennessee. A.J. Brown is one of the best players at his position. I know there is sticker shock with the way the wide receiver market has exploded this year. Thanks Jacksonville and Christian Kirk for starting this whole thing. But don't be stupid. If you do trade for one of those guys, which maybe isn't what you want to do because of the contract, make sure you keep A.J. Brown too. One more name here, Terry McLaurin. Even though I would love to see DK Metcalf reunite with his own teammate, I would suspect that Terry might be a bit more gettable than DK Metcalf just because DK's at voluntary workouts. McLaurin is not. Fits in the same category as Deebo, contract cost-wise. Maybe a little bit less, but also a bit tricky to obtain. So pick a receiver, and I assume everyone's going to type in AJ because you don't want to lose him, which is fine with me. If you want to type in multiple of these, I ain't going to be mad. It shows for you guys after all. Head to the comments section. Pick a receiver. AJ for AJ Brown, TM for Terry McLaurin, DB for Deebo Samuel. This is the pinned comment on today's show. So if the ad break comes on YouTube, I want you guys to take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Let's talk free agent options now. Beginning with, I think, the biggest name on the free agent market at wide receiver. That is Odell Beckham Jr. Very talented football player. Rehabbed his stock leading into the Super Bowl. And then tears his ACL, and the medical is now a very real red flag for OBJ. I think that's why he is unsigned at this point. How do you add a guy if you don't know what the medical is? So I would have interest if he's healthy, but if he's healthy, I think he ends up back with the Rams. Another bigger name guy among free agent options, a name we might be familiar with from his time with the Houston Texans, Will Fuller. He's got speed. He's got the vertical ability. Here's the problem. He can't stay on the field, whether it is suspensions, injuries. In the words of somebody here at the chat office, he's got hamstrings made of cotton candy. He's just not able to stay healthy. But cheap one-year deal as a vertical threat to be your wide receiver 3? Yeah, I got interest in that one. If you want a veteran receiver, how about Emmanuel Sanders, who I've always loved. I thought he's been one of the most underrated wideouts in the NFL for a very long time. He can still help you as a vet option, but the decline is beginning to set in. You've got guys coming off injury at receiver, so if you want a veteran presence for the short term, that wouldn't preclude you from adding somebody or crossing your fingers and hoping Dez Fitzpatrick isn't a bust relative to 4th-round picks. Sanders could be a good fit there. The Tennessee Titans official 2022 NFL Draft hats are available at chatsports.com/Titans Draft. Get your hat today. Not all the styles work. I think the Tennessee Titans ones are actually pretty solid, though. The different shades of blue, the white font for Tennessee is just visible enough. I think they work. So check the comments section and the description. We'll put the link to the Titans draft hats for you guys in the comments section. I think the most likely path for Tennessee is the draft, and that's how we'll spend the back half of today's video. The round one targets, the 5 guys, right? Chris Olave, first up here on this list, because I wonder if he has the best chance and the best fit of being there for Tennessee. Elite route running, awesome hands, doesn't bring you much after the catch, but if you plug in Robert Woods on the outside, you can rotate A.J. Brown with the slot and the outside some, as you've done in the past, and I think Olave could do slot or outside, and he brings you the speed you don't fully have on this roster right now. I would love to get me Garrett Wilson. I know he is my number one receiver this year. Elite body control. I think the upside is impressive. He offers you after the catch ability. There's a lot to love about Garrett Wilson, the prospect. He might need some time against press, but like almost every receiver does. So I feel like sometimes we ding the top guys for that. It's like the only thing we can say about him, but I think he's an awesome player. I think he's gone top 15, so I wanted to mention him, but not get my hopes up. Drake London's range is interesting. I've seen him mocked as high as 4 by some of the big mock draft ESPN people out there, and he didn't run it at this pro day. There are some separation concerns. I love him. He's a bigger-bodied guy. Maybe you want more speed on the roster at receiver, but if the Titans could get London in round 1, I would jump all over that. That would be a steal as far as I'm concerned. If you guys want more Titans videos, then subscribe. Hit that big red button and join us every single day or close to it for the latest on Tennessee. It is draft time. It's right around the corner, right? And no one will keep you guys more updated. We'll do grades for you guys after each round, total rates, and UDFA trackers. I actually know who most of the UDFAs are this year, so I can break them down for you. Hit that big red button and subscribe today. Jameson Williams, next up here, the wide receiver out of Alabama. I don't know if he gets there. There was a point where I thought maybe, and now I've gotten word from guys like Dane Brugger that there are teams out there that have Williams as the number 1 receiver this year. I could see him going top 10 to the Jets even. So if he slides, I love it. I would love to add his speed, his game-breaking home run ability on the outside. I'm not sure he'll be there, though. Another guy who I think could be there is Treylon Burks, the receiver out of Arkansas. I think Olave, Burks are the most likely of the 5 to be there. Different skill sets, almost polar opposites, right? Burks, I have real worries about how well he gets open. Now, after the catch, unlike Olave, the dude is a nightmare in a good way. He is breaking tackles, making guys miss, gets a full head of steam, and he's gone. Not an elite athlete. Olave's a better one relative to size, but he ain't bad either. I do wonder if his skill set is a little bit duplicated and repetitive of A.J. Brown, but there's a real chance he is the best player on your board when you're on the clock in round 1. So what do you think? Should the Titans draft a wide receiver in the first round? Why for yes and for no? Some round 3 options coming up, but I want to hear from you guys as it relates to the first round first and foremost. Some round 3 guys. How about John Mechie, who I'm not sure is there. Kind of think he goes more like top 65. He would have been a perfect pick for your second rounder with like where I think he goes. Awesome production. Now he's coming off injury, much like Jameson Williams. Had it sooner, though, the injury, so that actually benefits him a little bit. Drops are a red flag, but I'll make note. When the Crimson Tide needed a third down pickup, they went to Mechie, not to Williams. David Bell from Purdue had some round 2 buzz. Then the combine happened, and we're like, can't draft that athlete that high. I think there's a good chance he's there in the 3rd round. His athletic profile is a red flag. And I don't want to go full, like, crazy person and be like, you only draft the best athletes. Not what I'm saying. But in general, if you have a pick between the super freak athlete or the not freak athlete, you tend to take the super freak athlete relative to the entire NFL. So, yeah, if David Bell's in the 3rd round, I think it's about the right range for him. but I wonder if the Titans could target more of a pure slot receiver, such as Wan'Dale Robinson. Robinson is undersized, but he's very shifty, very dynamic after the catch. Had a big-time breakout year after transferring from Nebraska. And if you watch the bowl game for Kentucky against Iowa, I think it was Iowa, he dominated that game. He carried the Wildcats to a win. The name I like the most for Tennessee is maybe Calvin Austin III, who, outside of Mechie, is my highest of these 5 guys in terms of my grade. Undersized, but electric with the ball in his hands. Even at his size, he is still a premier athlete as well, once you adjust for the size and everything there. Austin's dangerous, return man value too. Him as your slot receiver who can run some slot fades for you. Ooh, that's sexy. And finally, Khalil Shakir out of Boise, who I think is maybe more of a 4th-round grade, but you're drafting late 3rd, so you're kind of in that area. I think he is behind Robinson, behind Austin for the NFL, and he is behind for me as well. But if you're just trying to fill that slot receiver need, Shakir is a good guy to keep an eye out for. I think he might be a little bit undervalued by some other members of draft media out there. Now, if you guys love the Tennessee Titans, I humbly request you guys show your support. Type me in the comment section right now to show that you are a true diehard Titans fan. And, of course, if you are a diehard Titans fan, then please subscribe. YouTube.com/Titans today. You don't want to have Jack lose his job, right? Help me feed my family. Help Jack feed his cat. YouTube.com/Titans today. Go subscribe right now. And don't miss out on all the videos we have for you guys right here at Chat Sports.